My concern is that you had multiple convictions for driving while intoxicated. You drove your car into the water, putting yourself at risk and whoever else was in the car, because there appears that there was another person in the car. And then you have a domestic.
Well, this is a case Mr. Mirabello would have been chopping at the bits to have. He just doesn't seem to understand that drinking while driving is not okay. And he's locked up for doing it again. We'll watch this parole hearing and I'll unpack it at the end.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Arjeny G DOC, inmate number 436171. He is serving a sentence of 7 years, executed suspended after serving 3 years, followed by 5 years probation for risk of injury, illegal operation of a commercial motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and illegal operation of a motor vehicle without ignition device. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 27th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows he has completed anger management, and he's currently enrolled in ESL classes. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Olivares Galeano, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hablar despacio para poder traducirla, ¿ok?
Gracias, muy amable. Agradezco mucho por esta oportunidad que me están dando. Estuve luchando mucho para demostrar lo arrepentido que yo estoy de lo que cometí.
I am grateful for this opportunity, and I've been trying so hard to show how much remorse and how much I regret what I did.
Y hice todos los programas que de parte de la corte me mandaron para comprobar que yo estaba totalmente arrepentido y cumplí con mis programas afuera.
I completed all the programs that the court ordered me to do to show that I regret what happened, and I completed all the programs.
También me pusieron un brazalete para que yo cumpliera aún más. Para tenerme controlado, cumplí 1 año afuera con brazalete y sin embargo terminaron sentenciándome.
I even had a GPS bracelet for them to keep better control on me, but then I was with that bracelet for a whole year, but I still ended up coming here.
Y lamentablemente por falta de información pagué la última fianza de $18,000 para salir bajo fianza.
Exactly, for lack of information, I ended up paying $18,000 for bond for me to be able to be released.
Para yo demostrar de que quería mi libertad para luchar por mis 3 hijos, que tengo uno en este país, en Estados Unidos, y 2 en Guatemala, mi país.
I was trying hard to show them that I was trying to fight for my freedom to take care of my kids. I have 1 in Guatemala and 2 in the United States.
Y me negaron los abogados defensores públicos. Y el último abogado que pagué solo fue para decirme que tenía que ser sentenciado.
I was denied by the public defenders, and the last lawyer that I ended up paying was just for me to know that I was still being sentenced.
Pero nunca me dijo que yo había hecho algo malo contra lo que me pedían para yo poder ser arrestado.
Never told me that I did anything wrong for me to end up being arrested.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Oliveira Galeano. What is going to happen here is each of us will take an opportunity to ask you some questions. When we're done with our questions, we will deliberate and then give you a decision, and our decision will be final. I wish you the best of luck.
Gracias, muy amable.
Thank you. So, Mr. Oliveira Galeano, you have, before us today for risk of injury and driving under the influence, you have prior convictions for the same risk of injury, having children in the car while you're drinking and driving. I know you said you were fighting for your freedom. Do you understand that you cannot drive when your license is suspended for DWI, for driving under the influence of alcohol?
Recuerdo ese accidente cuando a mí me pusieron, ese era mi primer WI, 2018, cuando yo llevaba a un menor de edad conmigo. Reconozco ese error.
Remember that accident that was back in 2018 when there was a minor inside a vehicle, and I got to that mistake.
Okay. Today, you're charged with driving under the influence, not having the ignition lock in your car, which was ordered because you had a prior driving under the influence of alcohol, and you have another risk of injury charge. Do you admit that you were drinking and driving?
Como repito, sí estoy de acuerdo en el accidente del 2018 y el nuevo incidente del 2022-23, del accidente que tuve en el agua hacia el muelle.
Yes, I admit. Actually, the one in 2018 and then the other one in 2022 or 2023 when I ended up having the accident of the car going into the water.
Right. Okay. So, Mr. Oliveira Galeano, do you think you have a problem with alcohol?
Voy a ser honesto, en esos accidentes, en mi pasado, reconozco que era una persona ignorante, que no pensaba en las consecuencias de los daños que podía causar usando alcohol.
I'm going to be honest, during those accidents that happened in the past, I was an ignorant person and I was not thinking about the consequences of flying doing it.
Y cuando cometí esos accidentes, desde que fui sometido a programas y cumpliendo con mi probatoria que tenía, nunca di una orina sucia. Es decir, he sido responsable de mis errores y los he reconocido.
When those accidents happened, I went to programs, and when I was on probation, my urine was always clean.
And that's a good thing. My concern is that you had multiple convictions for driving while intoxicated. You drove your car into the water, putting yourself at risk and whoever else was in the car, because there appears that there was another person in the car. And then you have a domestic violence arrest where the children were present. And you have a conviction for strangulation, which you had an unconditional discharge. So I see that you have done the programs. You did anger management. You're working on your English as second language classes. I think those are all positive. My concern is that you have not taken a program to address your alcohol use, and you have not taken a program for domestic violence. So although I do think you've done very well in the facility, you work in the community, you seem to have support, I would not, I cannot really consider whether or not you're suitable for release without you having done some of those, one or two of those programs, preferably both.
Es un buen candidato para salir a la comunidad.
Yo desde que vine aquí a esta prisión de Brooklyn, me comentaron que yo tenía que hacer 2 programas y yo he estado dispuesto a cumplirlos. Y me han dicho que he estado en la lista en espera, pero no me han llamado, la verdad.
Since I got here to Brooklyn, I was told that I needed to complete 2 programs, and I am willing to take those programs, but then they tell me that I am on a wait list.
So I understand, Mr. Oliveras Galeano, that addiction services and domestic violence were not on your list of programs, and I'm not a little concerned that they were not. So I would not, I would like to see you do those programs and then come back before the board.
Yo entiendo que
Sí, yo estoy totalmente de acuerdo a hacer los programas que me digan. Incluso yo podría cumplirlos afuera. Yo aprovecharía esa oportunidad.
I totally agree on doing those programs, and I am willing to take them. Even I can do the programs outside.
I appreciate your willingness and you understand, but I would rather, because you were on probation for driving under the influence, I'm not certain that you appreciate the significance and the harm to the community of the charges. So I would be voting to have you do those programs before you come back into the community.
Thank you, panel member Palmieri. So, Mr. Galeano, are you currently in the Tier 4 program?
Sí, me dieron un programa con respecto a los niveles de sustancias de alcohol que había consumido. Lo estoy haciendo.
Yes, they give me a program. It's about substances and alcohol. I am taking it.
Yeah, I think I saw that Officer Lodania in the,
It's tier 2.
Tier 2.
oh, Tier 2. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Started in April.
Tier 2. And so it's slated to end in June. Is that right?
Se supone que culmine en junio, ¿es correcto?
Sí,
And is that program in Spanish?
El programa es en español.
sí.
So what have you learned so far?
¿Qué usted ha aprendido hasta el momento?
He aprendido mucho, la verdad. Ya cumplí un año de estar acá. Y
My apologies. Go ahead, sir.
¿Puede continuar?
he aprendido mucho, no tanto por el programa, sino por el año que yo tengo de estar ya acá. La verdad, ya pienso diferente, tengo nuevos planes de seguir estudiando, ayudar a mi familia, a mis hijos. Algo que afuera yo no lo tenía, esos planes.
I have learned a lot since I've been here, and not only because of the programs, but only because of the year that I've been here. I have a different mindset. I think different now. I have plans. I want to keep going to school, and I have different plans on helping my family, things that I was not doing when I was outside. I wasn't thinking the same way.
Mr. Galeano, I'm going to need you to listen to the questions and answer the questions. I appreciate the feedback that you're offering, but I specifically asked about what you've learned in that program that you are in thus far.
¿Qué aprendió en este programa?
La verdad, he aprendido cómo poder controlar o cómo mantenerme alejado de esa adicción.
Honestly, I learned how to control or how to stay away from addiction.
And how do you do that?
¿Y cómo hace esto?
Primeramente, ya no relacionándome con las mismas personas que lo hacía antes.
First, not being with the same people that I was hanging out with before.
Y también he tomado la decisión de someterme a la religión cristiana.
And I also made the decision of becoming follow religion, Christian.
Algo que me ayuda a mantenerme siempre en la iglesia, haciendo cursos bíblicos y mantenerme alejado de toda clase de adicción.
Something that helps me, I've been taking Bible classes, and it helps me to stay away from addiction.
But my colleague asked you if you considered yourself an addict, and you said no.
Pero mi compañera le preguntó si usted se considera que usted es un adicto y usted dijo que no.
So I'm not sure. I mean, I can appreciate your newfound religion. However, when you're at a birthday party or at a wedding, or your buddies are going drinking after work, how do you handle that?
La decisión la tomaría por mí mismo, decir no.
I have to make the decision myself to say no.
Right. Right. So the other thing that you spoke about with my colleague was the domestic violence piece. Do you think that you have an issue with intimate partner relationships?
Nunca los había tenido hasta que conocí esta persona que es la mamá de mi hijo. Y nunca había tenido esos problemas, y por causa de ella, pues ella llamó, yo tuve que enfrentar las consecuencias.
I never had any problems before until I met this person, the mother of my child. She ended up calling, llamó que la policía.
Sí, ella llamó a la policía.
She called the police, and I have to face the consequences.
So, okay, I'm not even going to go there. I have to be honest with you, Mr. Galliano. You seem to minimize your role in all of your crimes. I think you also minimize your substance abuse problem. And I think that you also minimize the impact that you that you have had on this victim. Strangulation is a very serious offense. You could have killed her. And then your family jumping in was even more concerning for me. So I, as my colleague stated, do not have you voted to parole today. I'm not sure that I would even bring you back, but that may be incentive for you to take another look at yourself and the responses to the board's questions, and may help you think a little differently. So I know that was a lot, Ms. Rivera, but
Mr. Olivera Gariano.
thank you. Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Galliano, you've already had a lot of the questions asked that I would have asked. Just one, you've taken anger management, correct?
Mr. Galeano, usted tomó manejo de ira, ¿es correcto?
Sí,
Can you just tell us what skills you learned from that? And have you had the opportunity, can you give an example of having used those skills while in the facility?
Sí, ese programa me ayudó mucho con respecto a la ira, cómo controlar mi ira.
That program helped me a lot and how to control my anger.
Y lo que yo he hecho acá, a donde estoy, es ponerme a leer, a escuchar música, a hacer ejercicio.
And what I have done here is I read, I listen to music, I work out.
Voy a la escuela, estaba estudiando para obtener el GD también.
Going to school in order to get my GED.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering that question. I don't really have a lot of questions. You know, it looks as if you are doing some things to try to improve your situation and who you are. I would also agree with my colleagues that it seems that there's still some additional programming that you might need to be able to take, especially to complete the addiction program, because you just started it, the cheer program, you really just started. And I think I would like to see also, you have voices on your waiting list that you haven't taken either. So I think there's still some programming that you need to kind of help you make a more positive and successful transition back into the community at some point. But thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to deny Mr. Oliveras Galeano's 436171 discretionary parole. We've all said that we wouldn't vote him to parole today. And I'm going to assume that the reason for the denial today is for lack of program participation and inadequate evidence of offensive change. Yes. I would also move to rehear Mr. Galeano, I would say in December of 2024, so that he could complete domestic violence and the Tier 2 program that he's already in and continue working on his GED. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Galeano.
Voy a seguir hacia adelante y hacer una moción para negar la salida de bajo libertad condicional de Mr. Arjeny Galeano, número 436-171, por las siguientes razones: inadecuada participación en programas institucionales, inadecuada evidencia de cambio en el ofensor, pero a la misma vez, pues una nueva fecha para volverlo a ver. Me da la oportunidad para usted completar el programa de violencia doméstica y el programa de CIER, donde está ahora mismo.
So you're not eligible for parole until August of this year. So we'll rehear you in December, okay? Go back and do whatever you can before you come back to the board, okay?
Usted no es elegible para salir en libertad condicional hasta agosto de este año, entonces le vamos a dar una nueva fecha para verlo en diciembre. Vaya a llegar todo lo que pueda para cuando lo volvamos a ver en diciembre.
Ok, me parece bien. Gracias y muy amable.
Okay, I find that it's okay, thank you.
Good luck, sir.
Buena suerte.
Thank you.
Fournier, I will take Trividay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So they denied him, but they're giving him a rehearing in December. So in like what, 6 months or 5 months. And I guess we'll cover that rehearing and show it to you when that happens. But man, I mean, the guy is clueless quite clearly and incredibly dangerous. Of course, just the idea that he drives a car into a lake with people in the car, and then that happens. I think it was in 2018 where he got the risk of injury to a child. Thank you for sharing the info. We don't have any news articles, just his record. And he was given a 3-year sentence, but execution, suspended, probation, 3 years. So he didn't have to serve any of his 3-year sentence for doing that. And guess what happened? He violated it. He also has, let's see, this is the same, okay, the same sentence for operating a vehicle with a child. And then he has, in 2020, he has illegal operation of a vehicle under the influence. So that's his second DUI. He was sentenced to 120 days in jail. So he has his 2018, his 2020. Then he has his 2019 illegal operation motor vehicle without his ignition device. So, and that was, let's see, they gave him 364 days in jail, but they suspended it after 30 days. So they said, you'll spend 30 days in jail. And then finally, we have why he's here today, which is June 5th, 2022. And he was sentenced on 4/18/2023, which was a year and 2 months ago at the time of this hearing. And that's when he had his, it's interesting how they pack in the sentencing into one sentence. I wonder how that happens, but he has his strangulation, 3rd degree, and he has the risk of injury to a child. But I guess that's what sentenced him to this. Okay, so that's what got him in. I mean, the guy is just, it's unbelievable, really. And, but at least the judge gave somewhat of a decent sentence, 7 years. But executed suspended after 3. So it's really just 3-year sentence. And he got parole opportunity 14 months in. And now he's going to get another shot at it. So they're trying to get him out after him serving 2 years on his sentence. And you can clearly tell he's learned nothing, taking no accountability. I mean, the guy is just like, what was it? Oh yeah, I found religion. That's how I'll stop drinking. And I like how he was called out on it. Like, I'm really happy you have your newfound religion, but what are you going to do to stop drinking? And it's like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. They're going to end up releasing him into the streets again. And what do you think is going to happen? And that's why I said this is a Marabella hearing. They need to send him to Steve Hoyle. Like, there has to be some type of program. Not that it would make a difference. I mean, it just, I don't know about you, but I just felt his negative energy through the hearing. Just no accountability, nothing there. And I mean, what's it take to over and over and over to get in a car and drive with children in the car? I mean, just how, I mean, not, to do it over and over and over again. You're dangerous, man. You're dangerous. And anyways, thank you, Richard, for calling out this hearing. And with that, I'll let you go.